I got what is Vin Diesel?
Pretty sure he's called
Bald and buff.
Yeah. Yes. Facts.
And hey, have you seen
what is Vin Diesel's ethnicity?
Have you seen
Bald and buff? Welcome back to Scattered Roots Podcast with Kevin and Rudy, aka Rodolfo.
The boys, Rodolfo, that my mom is reserved as the only individual that
Don't
can
call
come
him
with
Rodolfo.
Rodolfo.
I'm sorry. I thought I'd try something new today. I don't know.
It's okay. It's, you know.
Thought I'd get in my bag.
Rodolfo is also my alter ego when I am
In the streets?
inebriated. And we don't like that guy that much. But all right, yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to the Scattered Roots Podcast.
What's on the docket today?
Today, we are excited to, I think, have a fun-flowing, somewhat serious in moments conversation about...
Fun answers? I don't know if I can handle both.
It's both, man. You know? It's going to be about our representation in entertainment, media, kind of like this like space of all sorts of media, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm excited.
Sorry. I just got...
Yeah, there was like a loud bang outside. Who's
there a fucking jet plane outside?
We finna get shot at, guys. Hold on, pause. We'll be back. BRB.
Right. No, we're good.
No, but yeah, so kind of talking about representation in media, right? TV, movies. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk a little bit about...
It's almost like that's why you played that song.
It literally, right? Wow. The first Pixar movie that I feel like really did...
Shout out to Coco. We'll get to that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk about it. And I think the reason we want to have this conversation is because we understand that representation is very important.
Preach.
It matters when you are a kid, and even when you're an adult, right? Seeing someone that you can relate to, that you look up to, role models, like, you know, these characters and cartoons as well, right, are important because you're so impressionable. And representation just matters, right? Like, we exist, we are important, and we deserve that space. So I think that's kind of why we're having this conversation today. Like you said, why we played Coco at the beginning, Un Poco Loco, at the beginning of today's show. So I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Representation is super important, just to see yourself in different aspects. There's the jet plane again. I'm sorry, guys, if you can hear it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's super important. And we see what it's done. Like for example, Black Panther. That huge. So yeah, well, I'm excited to dive into today and see how we've been represented not represented throughout the years.
As am I. And so actually I'm going to use that to kind of discuss the lack of representation and why this conversation is very important. And then we're going to speak about our own experiences. We're also going to talk a little bit about like the history of what we could always think of. But the reason this is really important, right? And in 2018, I think this was either UCLA or
USC, the other one?
There was another one. Yeah, I forgot. I read two papers. Sorry. But the 2018, 2019 statistics showed, right, when it came to Latina actors, 5.5% were the leading roles in cable, 4% in digital. And when it came to... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yes, that's right. 6.6% in scripted broadcast was the third category. And then when you looked at, like, writers for, like, these, like...
shows,
movies, yeah, all of it, it was lower. It was like 2.3% or like 3%, something of that nature. That was in 2018, 2019. The numbers looked very much the same in 2012 and 2013. And they were like incremental increases. And so we've seen not a lot of progress while our community has gotten bigger. And we are extremely underrepresented as the largest minority group. Although I will say, right, we've talked about this before, we are kind of difficult as that community to address everyone, right? Because we are not a monolith, but it's we are still gravely misrepresented.
Yep.
So I think that's a really big part as to why we're going to have this conversation. And so let's talk about some of the characters that we kind of were able to.
So right now we're placing the emphasis on like entertainment specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's definitely, right, when
there's different facets.
TV, movies are the big ones that we're going to jump into today. We're going to talk a little bit about sports and music. Although I think we may have kind of their own individual
not
episodes.
Too much, because those are
just huge, right? You're opening Pandora's box at that point. But when I was kind of like trying to scratch my brain as far as like what are characters that I can think of from as far back, right? Even if I didn't watch the shows.
Okay.
And one of the first things that like my mind went to were like just the old Mexican shows, right? So we had like La India Maria, Cantinflas, and the Chavo de Ocho. And I think it's important to kind of just talk about those types of shows because those show that we can create this kind of content. We're going to pause for just one moment. You want to pause it? Yeah, I think it's just pause.
Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that.
All right, shout out to that little pause. We had a kind of
minor audio issues.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, but we back. Okay. So I was just
where the heck were we?
The importance of giving credit to these shows that are like I didn't really watch them myself.
Whoa.
I remember seeing I watched them with my mom, but I was a kid. I don't have a lot of memories in the bank that I can really call back to, except the name and maybe a couple of things about the show.
Oh no, but I just want to emphasize here Chavo del Ocho because that thing is iconic.
That was one that I probably watched more than any other. But even then, I'm not gonna act in like I know the ins and outs of these shows, but they just show that we belong in these spaces in Mexico, in Latin America, across there are shows and actors
there's
and
others.
people. Yeah, there's a bunch, but those are some of the big ones. And so then now we move into the American space, right? And one of the first characters that I can think of, or one of the first actors, was Desi Arnaz. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly.
I don't know who that is.
That is Ricky Ricardo.
Oh, I know who that is. I love Ricky Ricardo.
From I Love Lucy, right? Yeah. He was a Cuban American, and that was just something that I thought of. Did you ever watch a single episode? Not a single episode.
I definitely watched one or two. I remember that my mom really liked that show, so I don't remember too much of it, just a tad bit. But yeah.
And so I'd imagine that if you are a Latino in the States. In let's say the 70s, 80s, right? You maybe see someone like Ricky Ricardo on the show I Love Lucy, and you're like, oh look, someone more like myself. Even when television was in black and white.
If I remember correctly, he had a pretty thick accent.
That's what you mentioned earlier, and I think that kind of makes sense because even the way he said "Lucy, I'm home" was very not flamboyant, right? But kind of over the top in a way, and you heard kind of the accent potentially. And that was in the 50s, right? Lucy was in the 1950s. And
I just know it's black and white, dog.
It was a black and white. Yeah. So I think imagine being someone in that time, kind of seeing that if you are an immigrant, you probably appreciate it, right? And so then the next one that we kind of talked about, maybe someone that a little bit, maybe our parents maybe saw, maybe definitely not my parents, but people of our parents' age that were in the States at the time, was from Saved by the Bell. Right, which was Mario Lopez. What was the character's name?
AC Slater.
AC Slater.
Man, let me tell you, Slater.
And Mario Lopez has kind of always been a a sweetheart of
heartthrob.
Yeah, heartthrob.
Man, it's hot. I'm just gonna say it.
You think so?
What?
I don't really care for him all too much.
What?
He's very attractive. Boy, sure.
If I look like Mario Lopez, I'm set. That's all I know.
For sure. He's not married to Evelyn. He never got married to Evelyn. They're best friends.
I don't know anything about him.
When the two friends that they're yeah, they should be together. That's them.
Is that you projecting?
Probably. I don't know.
No, but yeah, AC Slater's character was for sure because on that show he was portrayed to be he was a cool kid. He was the heartthrob. He was the opposite to Zach Morris, who's the white guy, the white hot guy or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I watched this show.
I didn't really watch the show.
I personally watched the show. So growing up, that was cool. I wanted to be AC Slater. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, being Mario Lopez, being that, even just him as a person, right?
I failed.
Hey, we getting there, bro. But yeah, and so that was in the 80s.
I believe the show started in the very late 80s and then went on to throughout the 90s.
And then now we start kind of getting into...
How do you think our parents are? Jesus Christ.
Dude, I don't know.
I don't think
no disrespect to people.
No, I mean like they were too. I don't know. I think my parents were too old for that. But go ahead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe. Well, regardless, right? So then now we kind of move into like the 90s. Maybe I just
aged my parents
a little bit.
Go ahead. That's neither here nor
we
there.
move into the 90s, and then we start to see a lot more, right? I think we have like actors that start to get more roles. Like we have Salma Hayek, we have Antonio Banderas, we have more of what I think, and maybe there was a lot more before, but I'm just not privy to it, right? And again, this conversation is going to be from like our perspectives and what we know and what we saw and like what we could think of. Although we did do some background.
The representation that kind of impacted us.
Exactly. It's a perfect way to say it. And so then now we're going to talk about just that, right? So what impacted us? I want to start with like just what I saw as a kid growing up. Is there anything that stands out to you as far as like the cartoons that you can think of where you saw someone and you were like, yo, that's about me, or like I see myself, or like even if it's not I see myself, like that's about us.
Yeah, I think if I chronologically speaking, the first thing I can remember was actually on Rocket Power. You watched Rocket Power?
I did watch Rocket Power.
So one of the characters, Twister, was Latin. His last name was...
He was Mexican, you said, right?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain. So I could be misremembering, but I'm fairly certain he was Mexican because one of the plot points of one of the episodes was like Cinco de Mayo, and there was like a Cinco de Mayo celebration. But they went into like the Batalla of Puebla, like they actually did the
really?
thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I want to go back and find that episode. Then.
Yeah. So like they actually did like touched on.
When was Rocket Power?
Dude, I don't know.
That's like early. Was that Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just
probably this was probably in the space where I didn't have
11 years
cable.
Old. Yeah.
I was like on and off periods here and there.
So that was, I think his name was like Mauricio Morales Rodriguez. I don't know, but I remember him being Mexican. And so I was like, oh, dude, Twister. I want to be, again, I want to be Twister. Like, I want to be skateboarding. Like
no, for sure, right? No, and that's so important, right? Like seeing someone, you're like, oh, this is so cool. Hey, he kind of looks more like me.
Yeah.
Was Twister? I guess I don't remember.
He was browner than the other characters.
Who was the? Actually, no. Were they all main characters, or were they?
It was 4 of them. Actually, let me not say he was browner because I think the other main characters were like Polynesian or Hawaiian or whatever.
I remember that so looked like a very like diverse show when you look at it.
One kid was white.
How groundbreaking for back in its day.
Yeah, that's a great show. Do you have one?
So I thought like
I have a couple others, but
a bunch. But I mean, the one that is like the biggest, right? I think that is kind of universal.
I didn't want to say that one because like it wasn't relevant to me per se.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like relative to me,
but it's important.
But it's big. I was talking about Dora.
Oh no. Let's talk about Speedy Gonzalez.
Oh, okay. So that was
let's talk about both.
Okay, so let's start with Speedy Gonzalez actually, because I love Speedy Gonzalez as a character when I was a kid. I think when you and I have had conversations, I think that does kind of start to trend a little bit into maybe like a not problematic, but it kind of like leans on stereotypes a little bit.
Which that can be a debate had. But for better or worse, like when I saw it, I didn't think of that, right?
For sure.
Like,
as a kid, I loved it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I still really appreciate, and I think it was, I'd rather have a Speedy Gonzalez than not. Because it was Tom and Jerry, and you can't really assign like ethnicity or a race to like these characters. But Speedy Gonzalez was Mexican,
yeah,
you know?
As fuck, dude.
Yeah. Like,
he was killing it, bro.
Yeah, bro. And he was, I love the character. And then now we can talk about Dora, right? So Dora Explorer is now like, I think, one of the groundbreaking characters in that it's like not in both spaces, right? It's like American and it's in English and it's in Spanish, and I don't even know like what her like background is exactly supposed to be because again I didn't watch Dora the Explorer, but I know that show for a lot of like kids growing up that were watching it at the time is huge, right? Because now we're like encouraging Spanish.
Yeah,
right?
and I was gonna say that the thing with that show specifically is that it's not like most cartoons where it's just like entertainment, dumb, stupid, like make you laugh. It was educational, so it was aimed to teach children like whatever, right? Yeah. And one of the things that she taught was Spanish. Like she used a lot of Spanish words, and it was just geared towards American children, and so that was super cool to see. Like anytime she spoke Spanish, I'm like.
Yeah, I thought it was so cool. Yeah, I was like, oh, look, like this cartoon is like speaking Spanish.
Bate, chocolate, bate. You don't remember that?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I literally...
Yeah, I watched a little bit there.
I would maybe remember watching some clips here and there with because I have a little sister that's 8 years younger than I am. So I think she watched a lot of Dora. She kind of looks like Dora too. Shout out to my sister Dali.
Have you seen the new Dora? She looks like she bites.
No. She looked like she what?
She looks like she bites. You haven't seen the new rendition of the?
No,
it's like all over Twitter right now and stuff.
The only thing I can think of.
Johnny, put a picture up, please.
The only thing I can think of is like the big when people dress up as Dora and it's like this huge intimidating like and then it starts twerking.
Oh my god, yeah.
But
Dora was huge. Dora was
important,
huge.
Yeah. And then you got her cousin
Diego
coming out the fold several years later. Mm-hmm. Go Diego, go. Mm-hmm. And they're cartoons, but they did look more like in was she supposed to be Mexican?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm projecting.
If she's not, right, but like she looked like she was supposed to be Latin. So I love that. So that's one. The other one that I didn't really think about, and I think this was interesting to kind of like try and see if maybe it was lazy, was a Handy Manny. Apparently Handy Manny, the character, was Latin.
Yeah.
But he was very like I could have like looked at the show and been like, oh no, that's just a little white man named Manny.
I think he was a little bit browner though, because Bob the Builder was definitely white.
You're right. Maybe that's what I'm thinking when I'm thinking about.
Yeah, Handy Manny was definitely, and it was voiced by I believe Wilmer Valderrama, I think.
Yeah. And we'll talk about Wilmer Valderrama because he was in a show.
Yo Mama. You don't remember that show?
the joke that always stands out was was like, your mom's so stupid. They told her to go home and write an essay, and she had sex with a Mexican.
Yo, I remember that show. Yo, bring back your mama. MTV,
like,
stop giving us ridiculous.
How scripted was that show, bro? Because people would be like, "Ooh," like, and that the joke was trash.
We're definitely getting off topic here, but man, MTV, stop showing ridiculousness. Bring back your mama, like, please. we'll drop a petition in the description box.
Hey, bro, fact. Hey, MTV is all ridiculousness now, bro. The show is trash.
But I think Handy Manny, he definitely was like a little bit browner. So I was already too old at that time.
Yeah, for sure.
But I remember like seeing like commercials for it and thinking, I was like, oh, that's a cool idea.
Interesting.
So I don't know too much about it though. I can't speak to it because again, I didn't watch it personally. But
okay, and then now I want to talk about one that I definitely watched hella hard, and that was Mucha Lucha.
Mucha Lucha, Mucha Lucha. I forget how it goes. The way you live or some shit like that.
I don't know. But bro, I
such a great show.
Good show, bro.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I loved like the characters and they definitely
the flea.
They definitely went and brought in elements of like culture into that show.
I mean, the fact that it was about luchadores and lucha libre is such a big part. And I'm surprised we haven't talked about. We probably fucked up and not talked about.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was like earlier when we talked about like in episodes past about like our culture.
Yeah,
lucha libre is such a big part of our culture, and the fact that it's a show very Latin, very Mexican, and very lucha. So it was just awesome. I love that show.
Like in that, like the main character was very, like I think that's like as a cartoon, because again, like we said, Speedy Gonzalez was kind of, a side character. Dora the Explorer. I guess I just can't she was after my time. I think Mucha Lucha to me was like very
during our time.
Was she?
Yes.
Oh dang. Well, Mucha Lucha I actually watched and I loved it, right? And I was like, I love this kid. I forgot his name now.
Ricochet.
But like, oh, okay, there you go. Perfect.
Ricochet, Lucha Girl, and the Flea.
The Flea, bro. The Flea.
His thing was he smelled so bad.
Yeah, that was maybe a little problematic.
So,
but I loved it. I love the show.
The Flea was my favorite character on the show. I love the Flea. That was such a good show. And then the theme song just fucking slaps, bro. Like,
bro.
We did no justice just now. That theme song was fucking amazing.
Yeah, we'll probably we'll have to.
You can throw that on at the quinceañera and it's gonna get lit.
Oh, really? You think so?
Absolutely.
That's the
group is pretty. We've played one of their songs
to the Mucha Lucha.
We played another song from that same group as one of our intro songs. I'm pretty sure.
You think so?
Yeah, it was the Baile de Gavilán.
And that's and that's huge in the fact that like you have someone making music for the show that is representing us.
Yeah.
So
it was very well done.
Exactly. Well, I think right, maybe, but I think we just appreciate that there was more an attempt to include a lot more aspects. I think that's where Dora lacks, right? Like Dora just kind of speaks Spanish. It didn't really do anything for like.
It's a bit deeper. It's not so much surface level.
Exactly, right. And I know Dora that does episodes where like they see her family and they talk about her background and like I think there's episodes with, like the abuela and stuff. I could be completely wrong, but Mucha Lucha was very much more deep into it, and I loved it. Was there any other that you watched or that you remember as a kid growing up?
I'm sure there are, but I'm drawing blanks. I'm sure there was other like one-off characters in shows that might have like Twister that I'm not recalling. So I don't know. There probably are, but I'm drawing blanks. I'm not sure.
And so then now, while I was doing this, right, one of the things that was in the back of my head is that I've seen before was when I was trying to think of characters. I've seen on Twitter when it's like, what character is? They said what character doesn't have like a race or an ethnicity like explicitly defined, but you know that character is black. Was Piccolo. Like the example. Oh, yeah, that was the first one that came up was like Piccolo. So I was like,
the GOAT.
I wonder what character I could think out there.
Great father, by the way.
I could think of nothing, right? But one thing that I did like scratch my head and I thought about for a second was, did you watch Ed and Eddie?
I love Ed and Eddie.
Fucking great show.
Yeah.
But I guess I thought Ralph was.
Who the fuck? Who? Wait, Ralph?
Ralph. I thought maybe Ralph was Mexican when I first when I was thinking about it initially, and I think that's because the only reason I even like thought about it again once I like even thought I was like, yeah, this dude's definitely like European or whatever, but he was like darker than just like the rest of the characters. Yeah. So again, I think that just speaks to why it's
he definitely had like an olive skin tone.
And even Ralph, right? Like I had friends that were like Rafael.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like maybe 2 and 2, like maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't even peep. I'll let you finish, but I think that's why Raphael was my favorite character on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because Raphael sounded like,
because he sounded like
a Latin character, even though they're all like Michelangelo, Leonardo, but they all do. But Raphael, yeah, cool.
And so like you start to, I like that character. My favorite character. Like I liked Ralph in the show. I thought he was funny.
What did he say? What does he call them? Like something boy? What does he say? Oh man,
I don't know. I feel like the only ones I could think of are like memes from nowadays.
His lines are so great. I love Ralph.
The one-liners, yeah. But he wasn't. But even then, I somewhat attached some kind of like liking towards that character.
So you kind of saw yourself because you appeared. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So again, it's just super important to see someone and relate and connect with the character as kids, and we're talking about cartoons. But that's all I could really think of.
Yeah, it seems like a dumb idea, right? Because it's rough. It's a stupid character, but when you're a child, you just want to see like someone that looks like you.
Absolutely.
You know.
So it's mad important. And I think that just goes to show, right? That list is so short that we could even think about right now, right? Of cartoons, because I watched a lot of cartoons growing up. I mean, kids do, right? That's kind of what they spend their time doing.
Yeah.
And for that list not to be longer, and for that list to not be like, some of the characters here aren't like the main characters, right? Twister, Speedy Gonzalez.
Oh shoot! I just remembered another one, but I forgot what it was. Maya and Miguel on PBS. You probably didn't.
Oh, probably yeah.
Dang, I don't know if anybody watched Maya and Miguel. It was kind of, but they were very much Latin characters. I think Mexican, but. That's another one.
I mean, again, like the list, even if you add that, like the list isn't that long. And so, and even a part of the list, not main characters in some circumstances. So it just shows that like there is the space available, especially as we are becoming the largest minority group in the United States. And I think that's probably where we can kind of start now transitioning into the realm of, like movies and TV and kind of like now what we saw, not as kids anymore, kind of like go out of cartoons. Do you remember growing up? I guess like in your young adulthood, right? Like teenage years and past. Like, let's do movies first.
Okay.
Movies that you saw representation, and that you oh, there you go. Is that why you wore the shirt today?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Okay. The science?
Well done. No, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even peep.
The Selena movie.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge movie. I'll let you speak a little bit more about like, I guess like just the impact that like something like that has like on us.
I mean, like as a kid when I first saw the movie, right? Like it wasn't about the art, Selena as an artist, right? Like I don't think I was aware fully of her music at the time. Even though the song, excuse me, the movie, like she's singing the songs or whatever, I wasn't aware of like Selena as an artist. To me, it was a movie of like with a full-on cast of a bunch of Latino characters, right? Mexican American characters, and they even speak about our reality of ni de aquí ni de allá in the movie.
Yeah,
so
they
like,
do.
It was just very, very much on the nose, or whatever the saying is.
Yeah.
And I just saw myself, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. And like I saw it again as a kid. Normally, I wouldn't like that type of movie, right? Like live action, like documentary type movie. Like I would think those shits are boring, right? I wanted to watch cartoons.
I remember being a kid and like actually watching that movie with like my mom.
Yeah,
because Selena is iconic on so many levels.
Yep.
Right. And
facts.
And then now when you look at like that movie, right? And again, like just her story, one really speaks to like what we even talk about here. Like you said, ni de aquí ni de allá. They portrayed some of those kind of like challenges that she had because they were very real, right? She was from Texas, and didn't speak Spanish perfectly, struggled. And so, yeah, I think that movie is a great example of kind of the reality that a lot of people, most people aren't like singers that are going to end up being icons, but right, just some of those challenges. And yeah, Selena's huge. And then that movie one is about Selena. And then in the movie, the character or the actor that plays Selena, J-Lo, did she do anything big before that?
I don't think so.
No? Was that like her kind of groundbreak?
I think so.
Okay.
We're getting a lot of nodding, but I don't
producers
know.
are nodding.
I don't trust them.
I'm
just kidding.
Pause. We're about to get cut.
I think she might have been like backup dancers or something for like,
maybe
like people. I think
that would make sense.
I don't know. Yeah,
but yeah, she definitely wasn't famous.
Yeah.
So like, and then J-Lo now, we look at her now, and she's an icon.
She's Jenny from the Block.
Jenny from the Block. There's probably a debate about these. Have you seen the video when she's like walking down her neighborhood? I don't know if it's in Queens or wherever she's from, but she's like, I used to live here. And then the dude that lives in the house now comes out. He's like, who are you?
No, I haven't seen that. No.
It's very aggressive. That was funny. But yeah, J-Lo, I think now she is someone that we can say like is, you can have your debates, right? About like Jennifer Lopez just as like, does she represent us as that community well? But she represents us, right? Like you see her, like she looks like a lot of people in our community do. And talented, right? Music, television, like.
What? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I was gonna say pause.
Hey man, she makes some shitty songs. She makes some good ones, but she makes some bad
for sure.
ones,
you know what I'm saying? She's not. I'm
joking.
She's
obviously you don't get to be that successful without some level of talent. So
at some level, like an incredible level of talent.
You know what I mean?
Hey, that Shakira, J-Lo Super Bowl halftime show.
Sorry.
Well, that was part of her like cultural, right? Like it was at the Lebanese. Is she Lebanese?
Yes.
Right. That was
sure.
I think so. Lebanese Colombian, and that was But I thought that was funny.
Made for a funny moment on Twitter, right?
Yeah,
okay, that was a very hilarious couple hours.
And that whole show, though, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. J-Lo, Shakira, I encourage you to perform together as many times as you like. I will be there.
Go get in the
to support you. Pause. Okay. Hey man, well Shakira is like my bread and butter, bro. Curly hair, like.
Oh, is that facts? Is that so? That's girls. If you look like Shakira, please.
Please don't hesitate. I encourage you to, just if you want a friend to talk to.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Back on track, buddy.
Okay, sorry. Let's get back to it. Yeah. So we had Selena, and then we move into like movies not about a character, right? But just in general, like we'll get into those. For me, one of the biggest ones growing up was Zorro. Is it called The Mask of Zorro?
I don't know, but I know what movie you're talking about.
As a kid, I watched that movie like 500 times.
I've never seen
minimum.
it. Never seen it.
Suck.
I'm sorry.
Literally, that was like one of my...
I didn't have the VHS. What do you want me to do? Did you have the VHS?
I did have a VHS. And we had the little card that you put it in, like, and then rewinded the...
What a time to be alive.
Cool. What a time.
You rewinded it too much, you fucked up the tape, and now you can't see the movie?
Oh, nah, man. Mine was automatic, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, but like if you... whatever. Just go ahead.
Oh, like if you did it too many times. Yeah, for sure. But no, Zorro was huge for me, right? Okay. Like I loved that movie as a kid, and I think a part of me maybe related to it a little bit.
Was it the movie itself, or was it like the character? Like, because I've never seen the movie. Is he like Latino, like supposed to be in the movie? I don't know.
So my memory is like bad.
I really know nothing about the movie outside of it's Antonio Banderas playing. So it is him, right?
It is Antonio Banderas. Yes, like it's in English, but like you can definitely tell this is a Latin actor, right? And like a character. And I think I just really, really liked the movie because he was riding horses and had a sombrero on. Okay. Right? Like, and I think as a kid, right, you look at other people, like my family, like I said before, like a lot of people, like we all wear sombreros and ride horses. And I was like, oh, this is something about me or about us. Like, my dad's not a Zorro, but you know what I'm saying? Like he's,
he could be.
He's riding horses, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if he could yield a sword like that, because that's what he was doing.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I think Zorro was like one of the first for me that was like huge. That again, as a kid, you don't really like, you're not making the connection but it's definitely there.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I've never seen that movie. But that's a good one though.
I love that movie.
Sure that,
and so then
shout out to Antonio Banderas.
And he's definitely one of the people that kind of started to become a main character, right? So like,
yep.
And again, that list is short when we start looking at it.
Yeah.
Do you have any other movies that stand out to you? Because I have a list of to provide context. We have a list of movies, right?
Yeah. So, Spy Kids.
Oh, facts.
Yeah, Spy Kids was huge.
It's on my list. Yeah. And there's multiple. So, do you remember the background of Spy Kids? Were they supposed to be very?
Yeah, they're Mexican. They're Tío Mexican? Is fucking machete.
Yeah, I know. Danny Trejo. Yeah. Which apparently I did not know this, but one of our producers told us like his background. He's like an actual felon with like. Hey man, shout out to the man for coming because he's in a bunch of like really cool shit.
Shout out to Danny Trejo. That man is a legend and an icon for sure.
Absolutely. But I will say this: Danny Trejo, I don't think has enough. Like again, he's always a side character.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that later.
Yo, but best side character ever. No, I'm just kidding. But
Spy Kids was awesome.
Spy Kids was awesome, especially because it was a movie about kids. Like you know what I mean? Like you had Junie and what's his sister's name in the movie? I have no idea. Junie Cortez.
Carmen.
Yeah, Junie and Carmen Cortez.
Yeah.
And who
I weren't the biggest crush on Carmen.
Bro, me too, bro. And like Spy Kids
and even
3D.
As we grew up together, she was still
because they were like our age, kind of.
Yeah, they were. Like, I think they were about our. At least Carmen was. Mm-hmm. And in Machete, bro, I was like, oh.
Yeah. So yeah, you just saw this movie of like these two Mexican kids being fucking spies, bro. Like, what kid doesn't want to be a spy,
bro? Fucking
like,
yeah,
with, like, gadgets.
I think I remember like asking him like, I gotta buy all the spec. Like,
and you remember those commercials? There was commercials for like spy toys that were like supposedly you could like put and like hear.
I remember buying those, bro, for a fact. And now that you're saying it, I'm almost 100% sure it was because of Spy Kids.
Bro, yeah, Spy Kids was such an important movie for.
I would like project myself if I was in this situation. Dude, what? I'd be the best spy ever.
Yeah. Such a great movie.
I don't know what the organization of that was hiring kids as being spies, but hit me up.
The concept behind it is absurd. But all children's movies. But even though, and they weren't the brownest of care, like the two kids. They're very white passing. But
they weren't. Are the actors themselves? Well, do you know what their background?
I don't know anything about Junie. The chick's name is like Alexa Vega, I think.
Yeah.
And so I don't know anything about that. Beyond, I know her name is Alexa Vega, and she's married to Carlos Peña, who was on Big Time Rush, which was another show I watched.
You know a lot about this.
I would like Big Time Rush. It was you never heard of Big Time Rush?
That was a show about the little boys, right? That was like in a group.
It was four boy band. It was.
I wasn't really into boy bands myself.
Yeah, hey man, that show was funny.
I'm glad you were.
It just got added on Netflix, and I was like, oh, cool.
Who's your favorite boy band of all time?
My favorite boy band of all time?
Yeah,
Menudo. Woo! You ain't gonna catch me slipping, dog.
Okay, hey, that was a good answer. Hey, shout out, that was good. Way to catch yourself.
I'll just play.
We accept. Ding.
But Spy Kids. So yeah, do you know? Go ahead. You were gonna say something.
No. I was gonna ask if there was another one that came out. If not, I was gonna start talking about more.
It kind of feels weird to go from this to Spy Kids because it wasn't like as like empowering. But again, in that moment, you just like seeing people that kind of look like you. Mm-hmm. And for me, another one of those movies was Next Friday. What, bro?
I love that movie.
Yeah, me too.
Like one of the series, like Friday, Next Friday, Friday After Next, all them amazing movies.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ice Cube.
But Next Friday, you had Baby Joker,
bro. And there's a lot of negative stereotypes.
No more locked doors. Gracias.
Bro, count my green or get in between. Those okay.
Oh my god! And the sister, right? Like she was like,
my god,
what's her name in the show? Carla,
curly hair
or something like that. I don't know. Oh yeah, she does have curly hair.
Hey, but you know,
she probably had you fiending, bro.
Let's break it down, right? Every time we've had Latina actress, right? It's.
But again, in the moment, so we'll talk about the misrepresentations and such for sure. But again, in that moment, like in that context, like of being a younger, stupider, maybe like without.
That's about us as a community.
Yeah, it's like, look,
for sure.
Look, they speak Spanish.
Yeah, I'll definitely probably put on a beanie.
I didn't look like a cholo, but
at all. But I definitely probably put on a beanie at some point and was walking around the house. It's like no more locked doors, just because like you see yourself. I like that movie. There's I'm gonna bring it back a little bit more. There's some Disney movies that I think are good to like touch on. One is Cheetah Girls, right? What's her name?
Dude, that was my favorite Cheetah Girl too.
Oh, yeah,
I know who you're talking about.
She was like Rob's girlfriend. What was her name?
Adrienne Bailon.
Yeah, that's right.
Stupid.
Sorry.
Yeah, Rob.
Sorry, I don't know the Cheetah Girls
so
off the top.
That she dated Rob Kardashian. That's
yeah,
so weird.
I know. Small world.
Yeah, she was actually on a couple episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Really?
I think.
Do you also watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
I did.
Oh, okay.
That was a long time ago.
Who's your favorite Kardashian?
I don't have one. What?
Yeah, sure.
I don't.
If you watched the show, you probably do.
Back then, Kim. Duh.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
When I first started watching, when I watched the show, it was Kim. Duh. They were all of the rest of them were ugly. Like Kylie didn't have any surgeries back then. Like,
bro, yeah, what a time.
Kendall was a child. They were both children.
All kids. Yeah. But okay, yeah. So Cheetah Girls, right? Again, and I think there was one of the other characters on Cheetah Girls was maybe Afro Latina.
Was she Afro Latina? I don't know.
I think so. Potentially.
We need to talk about that too. But
yeah, for sure. We'll talk about that representation. And then Gotta Kick It Up. Do you remember that movie?
Which one's that?
That was the one about the cheerleaders.
Oh yeah. I see. I didn't really watch it, but yeah.
America Ferrera is in that. And
the main character is Latina.
It's all about them.
Are they all?
It's really about being like cheerleaders from a like Latin majority community that's kind of underserved, not having the resources to compete with.
Is that based on a true story, or is it just bullshit?
I think it may.
Is it one of those?
I don't know.
Okay,
I could be wrong. I'm getting nods of no. I think maybe. I don't know. But like you appreciate, right? And I remember like the main character had a boyfriend who was a cholo.
Who had a lowrider. I think I remember that much. I think I remember that much. Yeah.
And then he ended up pulling up and saving the day, I think, at the end of the movie. Like, bringing her to, like, the...
Is that the one where they have a car wash and he brought all the homies through with the car wash? All the dudes with
that's it, bro. Memory unlocked. I just remember that.
I just remember that part because I was like, dude, lowriders.
And the dude had, like, slick hair, too. Like, he had, like, and he wore a tank. I'm sure the girls loved that character. Yeah. Probably. They were like, ooh, yeah, papi.
Papi, sí.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. Let me not just speak for them.
Okay. I didn't really watch that.
Okay, yeah, no, we got a text from our producer. He had us all wanting to date cholos. So, definitely worked.
Okay.
And hey, the main character was also very attractive. I can't remember.
Yeah, she was. And she's been in a couple other things, I believe, as well. Yeah. I mean, so is America Ferrera. She went on to do
I think she would
big
like
things
yeah,
as well.
she went her trajectory was the highest.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like, again, super important, right? As a kid, like that Disney movie.
A movie in that same vein that's also a Disney movie, but not like a Disney original movie. But it's like the exact same thing. Is McFarland USA. Have you seen the movie?
Zero idea.
No? So McFarland USA, that one's based on true story. It's in McFarland, California, I think is the state. If I'm not correct, I could be wrong. But it's about a high school cross-country team. Pretty much the same kind of concept.
Okay. Yeah,
they're all Latinos. They're all Mexican kids. They're like farm workers or whatever. Pickers. They're pickers and stuff, and it's just a story about them.
Like they work on a farm. Like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, like that's part of the story is that like they don't have time to go to cross country practice because they got to be helping their parents. They're at the fields and shit. But and they go on to win like the state championship for cross country, and that's a great. And that exact plot point of the cholos rolling through happens in the movie. I don't know if that's like part of just movie bullshit.
The cholos pull through to win the cross country race.
No, jackass. The cholos pulled through for the. They're doing a car wash charity fundraiser. There we go.
Oh, and the cholos pulled up to dang. Hey, cholos got a lot of money, huh? They just out here getting car washes. Yeah. Dang. It's probably because they sell drugs. No, I'm just playing.
Whoa. All right. Rudy's canceled this time. I just got a note from another one, and that's such a
Delivered. Yeah, I don't know what that movie is.
You don't know that one either?
No, sorry.
It's such a good movie. That one's also based on a true story. I think it's also in California.
I noticed it. Yeah,
in like South Central area, whatever.
In LA, yeah.
And this has to do with like a Mexican teacher and a class of a bunch of Latino students, and they take the AP calculus exam, and he helps them pass it, and they get accused of cheating because the state is like, ain't no way these dumb brown kids passing this exam.
Really?
Yeah, and they make him take it again. And they take it again.
And they pass it again. Shout out to all the Mexicans and all that.
Such a great movie. You haven't seen Stand and Deliver, go out and watch
taking AP test, the AP Cal test and passing. Hey, what'd you get on yours?
5.
I know you did.
Took it as a freshman.
Hey, ask me.
What'd you get?
A 5 too.
Woo,
Let's get it, boy.
But yeah, that's a really good movie. Stand and Deliver is another one for sure.
Oh, okay, I actually
check it out. I think it's on Netflix.
I'm gonna watch it because it sounds really good. I really enjoyed that, especially the "fuck you" moment to that teacher.
Yeah, it's kind of
fuck you.
Yeah.
Whoever you are,
it's similar to that
character.
It's kind of like that movie, Freedom Riders, kind of in that same vein.
That's the first thing that I thought of when you started to describe the plot, right? Except Freedom Riders is more about like just everyone.
This one's just straight up. I think there's like one white kid in.
But
the
even in
class,
even in Freedom Riders, right? Like seeing like the kids that look like myself, I was like, oh, dude, I really underserved community. I think you and I can both speak to like kind of being from that and kind of having to like find people like the resources. Although like we ended up being able to, right? Because the talented and gifted programs in Dallas for those communities, I think, are pretty good if you can get into them. But no, I love that. Let's see, the next one.
Such a good movie.
Maybe like this one's gonna like bring us back a little bit as far as timeline goes. Blood In, Blood Out.
We go from Stand and Deliver to Blood In, Blood Out. Hey, I fucking love Blood In, Blood Out too, dude.
I think that's the one where like
Cinderella.
Culturally, it's iconic to us, right? And it's very much about us, and it shows. Although I think that's the one where it's kind of it again puts us a little bit in a box. So it's a little bit. Now I don't want to say the movie itself is problematic. I think just the concept.
I mean, the one dude goes and becomes like a successful police officer, detective, and shit, and it's kind of about that like two different paths, right? That's the thing about that movie. It's about like one dude goes very much into prison, drug dealing, gang, whatever, and the other dude goes into some branch of the military, and then a cop.
For sure, no. I don't think I'm saying that it's.
They're definitely all cholos though, so I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I just think when we look at entertainment and media in general, when it comes to Latino, right? Again, it's kind of fitting us into that box more because, again, you and I are very. I'm very Mexican. You're very Mexican, Guatemalan, right?
Yes.
We've talked about it before, but that's not my reality at all whatsoever, or most of my family members, right? Yeah. Like that's not. I'd have to go very out.
Well, my pops kind of.
And again, like,
my pops actually kind of.
So it's definitely a thing, but it's not again.
Yeah.
You get my point.
Yeah. Ain't a Huda alive that can do a Chicano U-turn. It's my fucking shit. I love that movie.
You still sound like the Joker there.
Like who?
Like Joker.
That's what the dude sounded like when you don't remember that part?
They all sound like that. I think at some point that's like the way they lean into it. But yeah, I think that now opens the door from movies to let's talk about TV shows. Because that just immediately right now, just talking about just that genre in general, right? I just thought about Narcos. You didn't watch Narcos. No. I just remember this.
I got bored after like 5 episodes and stopped watching it.
You suck.
I left off spoilers, but if you haven't seen it, fuck you, because it's like forever. I left off an episode where like they shoot the dude from the helicopter. He's like running in a truck through a field. I don't know who they killed. They killed like a chopper. I don't know.
In what? In Narcos? Oh, yeah.
In like the first season.
Yeah. It's been forever since I watched it. So, but like then we talk about like TV shows, like Narcos, Queen of the South,
La Reina del Sur.
Like there's a lot that like kind of, and the reason I'm bringing those up now is because they're again very much about a specific thing, like drugs.
There's a lot of narco novelas that aren't necessarily even American. Like Reina del Sur was started in Mexico, and there's a ton more.
Oh yeah, so let's talk about that because we talked about American Ferrera a little bit. We had Betty La Fea. That's originally. Right, a Mexican show. Yeah, Mexican novela, right? Betty La Fea, that translated into the American. Is it Ugly Betty? Yeah, Ugly Betty. That's played by America Ferrera.
Did she play in both? Or no?
No, Betty La Fea was like her own. Like it's a little bit older. Americanized version? Do y'all know how old it is, producers?
Yeah, it's been a couple different iterations.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, but I think American Ferrera was the first American one to do it when
it blew up. That show was huge.
It is big. It is really big.
Never watched it, but I just know it was huge.
I guess I guess we have to make sure that while we're going through.
How'd you get there?
I don't even know.
We're talking about
drugs and narcos and Queen of the South.
Yeah, how'd you get from that to?
Oh no, because you said La Reina del Sur was a Mexican show.
Yeah.
That kind of got adapted into, and then I talked about the adaptation.
Gotcha.
That's how
connecting the dots.
Flashback.
Trying to follow Rudy's logic sometimes, folks, is
sorry
difficult.
Hey, we're on TV, or TV shows. Yeah, there are any TV shows that like kind of stand out, and I guess I also while we're going through these want to
one talk particularly about the at 2 a.m.
What is it?
Somebody cue up the low rider theme song.
Oh, bro,
the George Lopez show.
Was that
That was
good?
fucking terrible.
All right. Cut that out, Johnny, please. Sorry.
Leave it in. That show, man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I think that's so funny how we all live the same existence, waking up at 3 a.m, and then George Lopez just jumping off into the sky, be like, "What the fuck's going on?"
That intro was so weird. What was that? Like they're all just jumping.
I don't know.
Such a weird intro.
But no, George Lopez, one, just even as an individual, right? I think is another icon in iconic,
bro.
right?
FTP. Fuck that.
From a comedy standpoint, TV standpoint, like he's a multi-talented individual that like lives in a lot of spaces, and he looks very much like it.
He's very unapologetically Mexican.
Yeah, absolutely, and looks the part, acts the part, represents the part, and that's beautiful. And I think that's what we want a lot more.
Do you know where was he born here or in Mexico?
I'm pretty sure he was born in California.
Because he definitely has like the Chicano, like Spanglish whole, like the way he speaks.
I think that's like.
I actually never thought about that. So
like what his actual like background is. I can look it up really fast. Yeah. But
that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was gonna let you talk about George Lopez.
No, I was just gonna talk about like that show in particular. Again, just now we're talking about just like a family of like and that situation. It wasn't like blood in blood out where like they put us in a box. It was literally just them. You know, average Mexican American family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting into their own shenanigans, like problems growing up with the daughter, this, that, whatever. And so I was like, that's me. That's my family right there. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think the only thing that kind of sucks is the fact that was the only show that really did that for us, right? Like I can't think of anything else that was like about like a family of like just these people of like in this circumstance like Mexicans. And Cubans, right? Mexican Cubans, because
the wife was Cuban. Yeah.
The wife was she fully Cuban?
I don't know, but the dad definitely was.
The dad was Vic? Super Cuban. Yeah, Vic was super Cuban. And I think maybe that show is another example of how even again George Lopez, I'm pretty sure executive produced and directed the show. It was mainly him, but Carmen, was that her name?
Yeah, I think so. Sounds right.
They're all Carmen. Let me pause and think about this for a second. How many Mexican Carmens do you know? Or Latin Carmens do you know?
In real life?
Yeah.
0.
Yeah, I don't know that many. Her name should have been Guadalupe. I would have known a lot more.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or Monica's. I know a lot of Monica's.
Yeah.
Or Leslie's. Yeah, Carmen maybe not the best name to choose. But the actor herself, she was Polish.
Was she really?
Did you know that?
You put me on that right now.
She was European.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, she was not. She was, and when we looked at it, right, it didn't make a lot of sense because George Lopez.
She was one of my crushes. So.
I thought she was very cute. Oh, sorry, she's Albanian. And I have now a problem, and we're going to talk about it later, right? If you want a Mexican daughter to be played,
cast a Mexican.
Find a Mexican young woman to play your daughter, right? Like George Lopez has to like take that responsibility to do that. Now this is not me saying anything bad about the actor herself, like kind of if you're approached to do this as that girl, like yeah, you say yes to that. But we definitely as a people need to make that conscious effort. If we're going to be betrayed, it should be by us. Because again, like I mentioned at the very beginning, we've shown that we are capable of being in these places and spaces. So that was my only kind of problem with this show.
Yeah, actually, I didn't even know about that. I honestly didn't know about that.
But nonetheless, George Lopez, love it.
Yeah, facts.
Big facts. Which makes me think about like comedy even just in general. Like comedians in Fluffy.
Gabriel Iglesias?
Love that man. Yeah, does he have his own show? Has he been on a show before?
Yeah, he has his own show. He's
that's like a teacher what I thought, on the show. Right? Did you ever see him when he was on Comedy Central?
I don't know. I mean, which one? Like his first stand-up?
Nah, it wasn't a stand-up. He was on like the show to become a stand-up comedian.
Oh, no.
He was, yeah. He was like on the show. They were like, Comedy Central used to do a show about like up-and-coming like stand-up comedians and like they would like...
And he wasn't like up-and-comer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he got like voted off mad fast.
Oh, what?
And he's literally the biggest one out of like any of the comedians to ever go on that show. I may be wrong because I don't know all of them, but I mean Fluffy's huge.
Yeah.
And it's again he's living in the space of being like American and Mexican, like, but talks about El Paso, talks about California, like he
Martin
very in the culture, yeah. And a lot of his jokes like play on and
Orale.
Hey, his voices are crazy.
Yeah,
that man is mad talented. Yeah. And in comedy, we talked about this before. One representation, right? Seeing yourself being played and like being talked about. That's the other part, being talked about.
Yeah. So I said that earlier, right? It's like sometimes, and for better or worse, sometimes I don't even need to be like seen. I just want them to talk about me. Like my example was Cat Williams' stand up. He has a joke about Mexicans partying all night. Like he's like, get you a Mexican friend because Mexicans, they party like no other. Corona. It's all very stereotypical, whatever. But like when I saw that, I was like, ha! He's talking about me. I love it.
Yeah, he's talking about me, so and we love it, right? Yeah. Like it's a stand at attention, right? Like if I'm just casually listening to it in the background, I hear that, I'm just like, like, hey, what does he say? You know, and I laugh about it, and I enjoy it for sure. Like there's gonna be people that are gonna have discussion, like, oh, like they're leaning into stereotypes. Yeah. Comedy lives in a space where I think,
man. I don't know. For sure. That's my perception.
When it comes to comedy, I'm very much like I'm not stepping on like it's comedy, right? Like, don't be offended unless it's like blatantly like terrible.
Yeah. We can all laugh at ourselves sometimes and stuff.
Exactly.
Like, I just appreciate the attention. Again, I like being relevant, right? Like, oh look, they're talking about Mexico. Or they're talking about Mexicans in that scenario. In that specific
I think there was
instance.
another joke. Was it Dave Chappelle? When he's doing the stand up, he's like asking like this couple, and he's like, hey, like what are y'all in the crowd? And one of them's like Asian. I think the lady's Asian and the dude's Mexican. And Dave Chappelle's like, oh, y'all are gonna have the hardest working baby of all time.
I haven't seen that one.
And like that shit's funny. You know what I'm saying? And I just appreciate that like we're being talked about. And that's a good stereotype of hard workers. Yep. But yeah, being talked about, being represented, super
that's
important.
That's part of representation, I think, to a lesser degree, but
for sure, right? Like,
it definitely had an impact on like myself. Like I liked it. Ooh, my bad.
Stop punching the mic, bro. But it's important because we're all into the American culture, right? When it comes to like being the largest minority group here, and so yeah, absolutely, we need to be talked about just in general, even if it's not by ourselves, right? Like by us, like telling a story about a Mexican or Colombian or whatever, it should be normal here, especially if they're American as well. You know what? My bad. I'm gonna jump back a little bit. I just randomly I was thinking about like countries, and Peru came across my brain of thought.
Okay.
How did we miss Emperor's New Groove?
Oh, that's a great movie, bro.
He was Peruvian, right? He was like
Incan.
Yeah, he was like the
Cusco
of the Incan Empire. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the what was the dude that he was kicking off the hilltop? He looked very indigenous. Paca?
Some shit like that. I don't know. I forget, but yeah.
Yeah, but dude, that was
deliver crunk.
That was terrible.
So?
Why do we even have that lever? That mine was worse.
That's a great movie.
All right, sorry, we're not voiceover. Yeah. Hey, I think they teach a course on squeaker and squeakums.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm pretty sure.
Shut up.
Look it up.
Whatever.
All right.
That's a great movie though, for sure.
I love that. Another one. Yeah, Peruvian, right? Like
There's another one too. I don't think this one is as El Dorado or something.
No, the Road to El Dorado. Yeah. Was that in?
I think they're trying to take our money, our gold.
Yeah,
I think it's problematic. Yeah, I think there's some colonizing that shit.
Yeah, it is some colonizing
Let's not talk about
shit.
that one. Go on.
Yeah. Fuck colonizers.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Apocalypto. Fuck Apocalypto.
I have a note in here. Hold on. Before we talk about that, I think there's. Have you watched Jane the Virgin?
No.
I haven't watched it through and through. I watched, I think, the first season, maybe part of the second season. Gina Rodriguez, the actor that plays Jane in the show, is an interesting person to kind of like talk about, right?
I guess.
She's not my favorite, but just the show itself, I really appreciate because there's a telenovela-esque to it. Or it's not even esque. I
think that's why I don't like it. Like, I don't know. It's corny to me.
You think that they were just trying to like appropriate
the narrator gets on my nerves. But I respect it.
Do you think like it's appropriating like Americans trying to take like this telenovela?
Not necessarily. Like, that's the thing, man. Like, it's putting us out there. You know, it's about us. You have what's the actor, the who is it?
The dude, the heartthrob,
the Mexican. Yeah, he's Mexican. I don't
know, but I know who you're talking about. Slick back hair dude.
Yeah. It's just great, right? It's about us. It's whatever. Like, I don't have a problem with it. I just personally, it wasn't for me. I couldn't stand it. It was corny. Like, I don't know if I would say appropriate. I don't think so. I I can't stand the and then Gina whatever, like his stupid ass voice that he does. I don't know. It's not for me.
I just appreciate that, like, it felt like there was like hints of, like, you know, Mexican or like Latin culture.
That's what I'm saying.
The show itself, right?
Absolutely.
Not even the characters, but like just the structure of the show.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people really, really like it.
Yeah, that show's a fucking mess, though, I think. Isn't there a bunch of like
problematic shit?
No, I don't know. Fucking this person's dead, and then they're not dead, and then the
like plot holes. Is there a bunch of plot holes? I don't know. If you're a fan of Jane the Virgin, let us know.
Move on.
Yeah, or not a fan, right? Let us know. And I think maybe a good transition point here, right? We talked about telenovelas. I think it.
Did we?
I was saying how like Jane the Virgin has telenovela like kind of like aspects built into the structure of the show. Even growing up, right? We have Univision and Telemundo that are these huge networks kind of catered to the Latin community. And I think they're very influential and like they're huge, right? I just remember being a kid, like watching Sábado Gigante all the time. Like literally could not like in like a chacal, right? Like fuera. Like there's so many moments I can pull from it. And I think it's really important to talk about having these networks that are very like focused and are there for us. Because when you look at someone like the Black community has BET, and that's just a single network. Albeit like other networks like have like shows that like are centered around the reality. I just think it's awesome that we have Univision and Telemundo, which I asked you before. Do you know where Univision is like based out of? I thought it was like actually like in Mexico.
No, I had no idea.
New York City, and I think Telemundo may be in Florida.
Okay,
I don't know. I may be wrong.
No idea.
But
never thought about it.
And so that, again, that opens the door by just like telenovelas. Did you watch telenovelas?
No, I didn't. I definitely heard of saw them being played. Like my mom did. Yeah, several of them.
I remember like watching them like kind of like on the side, right? Like
that's what I'm saying. Like I in passing, but I never watched one.
So like, dramatic.
I know Amigas y Rivales. That's all I know.
What? I don't know.
You don't know
I know what's the one, the Mochila Azul?
The Niño de la Mochila Azul. That's with Alejandro Fernandez. I think that's a movie.
Oh, is it?
I think. I thought it was. That's really old. That's really old.
Is it?
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I maybe seen more of it because I was a kid. Like I was actually.
That's really, if I'm not mistaken, unless they've remade it in different iterations. But like, yeah, it was like Alejandro. If I'm getting his name right, because I always forget. I think it's Alejandro Fernandez, and it was when he was like a child actor, and like he was the main character in it. So I think that's like super old. And
so like I brought up like Univision and Telemundo because there's another side of media, right? When you look at like just news and
RBD. Sorry, I just had to say that.
What's RBD?
Rebelde.
Oh, Rebelde, like the actual show. Oh, okay, my bad. Hey, Rebelde was like a huge movement.
Yeah, that's why I had to bring it up. But yeah, I didn't watch it, but
literally like the most cringeworthy like movement. I think.
I don't.
If you were a kid walking around with a white button up with your shirt popped up with a tie like hanging loose, I thought you were the biggest loser.
Hizo rebelde.
Hey, Bob, not gonna lie.
Pico la nariz. That was a remix.
What?
Yeah, I never heard that remix.
No.
Whack.
Hey, that's a bop though. I really like that song.
Okay.
But yeah, having these networks, right? We had like a Gordo de la Flaca. Oh, sorry, that's what I was kind of getting into. Media representation.
Don't keep punching. Bro, stop punching the mic.
What's wrong with you? Media representation also includes like news and journalists that you see, like anchors.
I still don't watch the news to this day, so it doesn't do nothing for me. But yes,
I watch the news a lot.
Hence why I'm so uninformed.
But sorry. I definitely don't watch like Univision. I think like there is like Jorge Ramos lives in this space of being like iconic in both spaces. Like he's on CNN sometimes. I think periodically. No,
I don't know.
Do you watch? Do you ever watch Univision Telemundo at all?
No.
Why?
I don't know. There's nothing like as a kid because they didn't have cartoons. And now, because I don't know, I just don't even watch TV in general. I mean, I probably watch shows on it like every once in a while. Like I think Eugenio Derbez had a show, or La Familia Peluche, I think is on there. Watch that, which we haven't even spoken on him.
Bro, yeah, how have we gone through? I have a list of actors that I'm gonna go through before because we definitely want to talk about.
You were going into news. I didn't know we were.
No, I didn't want to talk about that too much, okay. But I just think it was important to say like.
We should definitely talk about Eugenio Derbez.
Absolutely.
We're talking about movies and we didn't even say instructions not included. We didn't say Bajo la misma luna, which that one's in Spanish, but whatever.
But no, it's important because you could see that in the States, right? That was just called Under the Same Moon, and they had like the subtitles for it. But he was huge. What was the La Familia Peluche, right? Was where he's huge, right? Because Mexican like icon in its own, and now he's doing it here as well.
Yeah, that man is a goat. Fucking goat.
Yeah, like
I think he's our Cantinflas.
Maybe that's honestly a hot take, but I think it's not that hot.
That hot?
Yeah, no, because he's super talented
Of this generation, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I just want to mention Telemundo because I think I don't really watch all that often, but having spaces where like like it's really centered around you is important.
Their content just wasn't for me. I mean, they show novelas and like noticieros and
La Rosa de Guadalupe, is that what it is?
Oh, sorry, I do like that show a lot.
Yeah,
bro. Rosa, como dice el dicho, both of them.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
It's the same shit. But that mystical wind, bro, gets me every time.
Every time, bro. Time. Hey, the graphics.
Somebody edit in air.
But okay, yeah, that's the only thing I really wanted to mention. I kind of talked about we talked about comedy a little bit, right? The other thing that's kind of a part of entertainment, and maybe this will help us transition, was like wrestling for me.
Oh, dude, yeah. When growing up, that was outside of cartoons. Was WWE, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio.
To me, my attachment was with Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was going up against anybody. I didn't care who it was. Rey Mysterio got to win.
Yeah.
The 619.
Yeah.
Literally, I would get so hyped as a kid.
Every time the 619.
I would jump off the bed
move.
trying to do backflips.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was like, I'm gonna be Rey Mysterio. Dude. Where's my mask? And there was
I had a mask. I had several masks.
There was one where like they took his mask off. He had another mask underneath. And I remember being a kid. And I was like,
never catch me slipping, bro.
You'll never catch me,
bro. Yes, absolutely. I was a big WWE fan, and Rey Mysterio. I also loved Rey Mysterio, but I was more attached to Eddie Guerrero. But it was both, right? As long as they weren't fighting each other, I was set. Bro.
I have heard that there's a lot of people that attach themselves more to Eddie because he was more, at least that group like with our background where like they are American, Mexican American, because he played that. He was more that.
Yeah, he played into that role. I don't think Rey Mysterio really like did the whole like
he was a luchador
like in his
for
promos.
The most part. Yeah.
But in Eddie's promos, he would be like, "Órale, say," he would say all the Spanish little words, "Che cabrón," and Latino heat and all that shit. So that's probably why I was, like you said, drawn to him. Exactly. But
I wonder if someone like that exists now in wrestling.
Eddie Guerrero.
Rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero.
Fucking goat.
I wonder if there's someone that exists like that now. I don't really watch wrestling anymore.
Bad Bunny.
It's
Get the fuck out of here. Don't disrespect Lucha Libre like that. Shout out to him, though. He did his thing. Did you watch the match?
I did not watch the match.
He did the damn thing.
Oh, did he? Was he pretty good?
Pretty well. Like, yeah, he didn't just go out there and bullshit.
Hey, man, you know how I feel about Bad Bunny.
He did some moves. I was very impressed from like a wrestling standpoint.
His moves impressed you?
Yes.
Nice.
He did some little he did a suplex. I was like, oh shit, this motherfucker just did a suplex.
Oh shit.
You know what suplex
He's so talented. Yeah, I know what suplex is.
Okay.
He's so talented.
But yeah, that was a big one. And sorry, it just made me think. And also, well, let me not take the credit. I got a note from a producer.
Yeah, Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre.
I don't love that movie.
You don't?
I do not.
I fucking love that movie, bro.
I do not love that movie. Oh my God,
such a good movie, bro. I want to win. Get the corn out of my face. Get the corn out of my face.
That was good. That was your best impression thus far.
Oh, Jack Black is another GOAT, but he's not a...
Yeah, we're
not relevant to this, but GOAT. Nacho Libre is a great movie. And
who's the nun in the movie? Who plays that?
Is it Salma Hayek? No.
Is it Penelope Cruz?
I don't fucking know.
I think it is Penelope Cruz. It's Penelope Cruz. Shout out to Shakira. Is Penelope Cruz Latin or is she European?
I think she's Spanish, first of all.
It's not. Maybe it's not Penelope Cruz.
It's none of them. It's another individual.
Oh,
Ana de la Reguera.
Oh.
I don't know.
She kind of looks like Penelope Cruz.
I've never heard of her. Yeah. Or heard that name. But yeah.
But she was in the. Maybe I don't know. Nacho Libre was okay.
Yeah, and she's Mexican.
Oh, she's Mexican. Okay, we love.
I really like Nacho Libre.
Shout out to the Mexican ends in the world.
It was funny, Lucha Libre again, and I loved Rey Mysterio. Even though it's obviously like a very a parody. It's a huge.
It leans into like the stereotype a little bit. Yeah.
But I don't know. There was a bunch of brown actors on the screen, so I was like all for it. Yeah.
Yeah, Hector Jimenez, who played the skinny...
Esqueleto?
Yeah. He was funny.
Oh, dude.
He was funny.
I fucking love that movie, dude.
Maybe I need to go back and watch it now with like a clean slate because it's been a long time since I've watched it.
Such a good movie, bro. But and then it touched on the Catholicism and stuff. So it did a little bit of that. So like it had a lot of our culture in it.
It did.
So I don't know if it was well done. I don't know. It's a comedy. I just know I really
like the movie. We're not gonna write a thought piece about like how well at least that movie.
Right. I don't really worry about that stuff. I liked it.
I know you don't.
Get the corn out of my face. That's a great one. But yeah, Lucha Libre, all that shit. That was very impactful from a representation standpoint.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, like, I'm just kind of looking at my list now of actors and like just
lightning round. You want to name them off? Just boom, boom, boom.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. We'll do that. Wow. I guess I can, right? So like Eva Longoria, she dips into the TV.
Because we should at least shout them out.
Eva Longoria dips into the TV realm. I would say like she definitely is a part of. Huh?
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I think she's a part of like the group of Latina actresses that get
typecasted.
Yeah, a little bit. Along with like Sofia Vergara, right? Who was the other one that we talked about before?
Eva Mendes.
Yeah, Eva Mendes. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. But Eva Longoria, I think it does a lot of really good things for our community, right? I think she's really like best friends with like Mario Lopez. I think she advocates and speaks, and then like asks for like representation if you go out. Who else do I have on this list? Oh, Javier Bardem. Have you Bardem? I don't even know how to say his last name. Bardem. You know what I'm talking about? You watch No Country for Old Men? You know what I'm talking
about? No, I thought my blank face.
Dude, I love that movie.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You should go watch it. You know who I'm talking about when I'm saying that. Michael Peña.
Oh, I love Michael Peña, dude.
Yeah, for sure. He's Mexican? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yes.
He gets typecasted.
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe I don't really know his filmography like that. The only one where I was like, yeah, that's not okay. But I like it. It's funny. Is an Ant-Man. His character in Ant-Man is like the
yeah. You told me that earlier.
Yeah, and my abuela got deported, and then my cousin like that. He talks like all fast and got a thick ass accent. But like in his other movies, like he's in Shooter and he's fine. He's great in his Shooter. And that's I was gonna say that. End of Watch is a great, amazing movie.
Yeah,
and he's not typecasting. I mean, he's just a Mexican cop.
Yeah, he's a Mexican cop in that movie.
I mean, I guess he's all about family. He's looking. I don't know, but Michael Peña is a great actor. He's awesome.
I have Michelle Rodriguez on here. From Fast and Furious.
You were saying about Fast and Furious.
Actually, we talked about it a little bit.
Thought it was like.
I thought there was a lot of like hints of it being about, right, because the movie starts in LA, does it not?
Yes.
Like yes. And so there was it felt like influence. I get that it's about cars and like the car culture, but there was a bleeding in of Latin, South Central.
So I didn't really, when we were having this discussion.
Because the sister and Michelle Rodriguez are both very much
sure.
Latin.
The sister, The
Latinas, for sure.
Absolutely.
Which would mean Vin Diesel would be Latino in this scenario.
Yeah, and they drink Coronas. La Familia.
Familia is everything.
Yeah, but that didn't come until like later on. I feel like the whole Familia shtick.
Really?
I don't know.
By the second movie, because
they're not even in the second movie. It's just Paul. It's just Brian and Tyrese, whatever his name is in the movie.
Oh, then when
Vin, like they're not in the second movie at all.
You're right.
Or the third one.
Just Paul Walker.
Yeah. So it's in the fourth one. That's what I'm saying. That I mean, they had the whole little cookout thing, but it wasn't really about Familia like that.
At the end, it was. But at the end of the day, Vin Diesel, not Latino, right?
No.
What is Vin Diesel?
Pretty sure he's called
bald and buff.
Yeah. Yes. Facts.
And hey, have you seen
what is Vin Diesel's ethnicity?
Have you seen
bald and buff?
And he can stop a bus being thrown at him. Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, oh my god, bro. People talk shit about the movie. I love them, but this one seems a bit much.
Bro, the
motherfucker Tarzan's a car across a fucking like.
Bro, who the fuck is like this shit? My homeboy made a skit about that. Shout out to Mark about this man stopping the fucking train that got thrown at him out the. Bro, move on. Let's leave that series alone, please.
Dude, I love that movie. I love those movies. I love those movies.
Yeah, no. The first three.
No. All of them.
Really?
I love all of them.
Yeah, you have bad taste.
They're so good.
So then I have Michelle Rodriguez. I have William Levy on this list. Because he's like a telenovela.
Yeah, he's mainly a telenovela. I think he's appeared in a couple movies. I know he's in one of the Resident Evil ones, but he died like in 2 seconds. So.
And then I'm gonna mispronounce the name, but John.
John Leguizamo. Like some shit like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's never been like a star character, but I do. You can tell that he is.
I think he's like Puerto Rican.
Yeah, most of the time he plays like that kind of.
He's like a fast talker, which is another thing that they always typecast us for being. He's like talking fast.
Absolutely.
All funny guys.
And there's a couple more, but like. I don't want to just.
Going back to Fast and Furious, Hector.
Oh,
fucking Hector, dude! You can't forget about Hector.
Okay, well, we're gonna come back to that.
Okay, fine.
In a little bit.
Fine.
So that kind of does it for that kind of realm. And with all this being said, right? Like I also want to mention Guillermo del Toro, right? Being like an director, who is literally
stupid successful.
Yep. So like, and
I've never seen any of his movies, but hey, put on for the culture.
Shout out, yeah, exactly. What was the last one that he won?
Shape of Water.
Was it The Shape of Water?
So fucking smart. I don't know.
Was that the one that was awkward where they announced the wrong winner?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about? Where they announced the wrong winner to come up?
Sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's so. Yeah, shout out to Miss America.
Miss Universe.
Sorry, Miss Universe.
Puro Mexico.
Bro, all day. I love you.
What's her name?
I love you. I will remember your name here in a moment.
I don't know her name.
But yeah, we'll give another shot at the end. Okay, but I think that kind of like puts a pretty good like, I guess, encapsulation. And we may have missed a lot.
We definitely missed a lot.
But not that much. Which I think speaks to the fact that if we can talk about a lot of it in an hour, right? However long we've been talking about, we're selling ourselves short and we need more of it.
Yep.
Right? So I think that was kind of my biggest thing.
I would agree.
We definitely don't want to like open these like doors too much, but like music and sports, let's talk about it a little bit.
Just very quickly.
Very quickly. When it came to music, right, you have, yeah, absolutely.
The GOAT. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. But I think and we talked about it a little bit before, right, with Selena and with J-Lo, kind of like, you know, like both of them existing in that space. Selena. What about Selena Gomez? What's your thought piece on Selena Gomez?
I've been told not to speak. I'm kidding. I don't know anything about her, dude.
So Wizards of Waverly Place, I think they were supposed to be a Mexican family.
They're Mexican-Italian.
Mexican-Italian. That's right. That's right.
They're both.
Russo, because Russo was their last name.
Yes.
But she had a quinceañera. I remember that.
No, yeah,
specifically
they're
in the
show.
show.
The mom is Mexican.
She had a quinceañera, and I remember really liking
that show.
that. Yeah, I really like that show as well.
I really like that show. That show's really good. I really liked her back then. I don't have whatever.
I love Selena Gomez. No, I love her. Like I love her as like her like.
I think
herself,
she makes terrible music, honestly.
But I don't really care for the music all too much. Like I don't listen to Selena Gomez. Like, whatever, wash.
That's probably why I don't like her.
But I really like Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber. I will not mention.
We're being fed notes. Sorry, guys.
Listeners of the Scattered Roots podcast, this is my promise to you that I will never again mention the name Justin Bieber.
Fucking loser.
For the rest of my life on this podcast.
And I second that motion.
All right. Let's move on. Selena Gomez again. I think there's some like, she gets flack for not being more Latina.
Yeah.
Right.
Which was like my perception of her, but I've been supposing there's information that I'm not privy to.
I think there was an attempt to like be more outspoken about that part of herself and like wanting to like learn more about it, and she was kind of like booed for it by people that I think, and I think maybe it has to do with some of the issues when we talk about like, right, when there's like someone that's can't speak Spanish and they're just like, shut up, you can't even speak Spanish, right? Like she was kind of told to shut up, like this isn't like what you can really do, and you shouldn't be trying to do this. But again, Selena didn't speak the best of Spanish. Right. So Selena Gomez, like, I think maybe we just didn't allow her the opportunity to really like,
I didn't know any of that
blossom it and be more representative. Although I think now, right, she's of the time and age where she shouldn't care anymore, and should be more outspoken. I will challenge her in saying that like she needs to be.
Your personal challenger, Selena. What's up?
Hey, you know what I'm saying? She
come
from
to the carne asada.
You think she knows what? Yeah, she just has to know what carne asada is.
I don't know.
And that's the point. I don't know how Mexican she is because she doesn't put it out there.
That's my point. It's like, so yeah, without that information you just shared that we were fed by the producers prior to the show, my perception of her was someone who like didn't really care to be in tune with her.
For sure.
That's just me.
That's my perception as well.
I'm probably wrong.
I could be wrong.
Told I was wrong, but that was my perception. He was just like very successful person who is again white passing and just
last name is Gomez.
Her. Yeah.
Last name is Gomez. You look very like myself, like someone like myself, my friends, right? And I don't feel that orgullo that I feel like you should really be feeling, right? So I think that's where the issue comes in, right? Like when you see someone of that success, you would want them to like wear the Mexican flag on their back the way that I think I would. They don't
necessarily have to, right? Because they might not feel that way. Every situation, I'm not saying she doesn't feel that way because I don't know, right?
I think that's the problem. We don't know. Yeah, and you don't have to. And I talked about that before, right? There's going to be people that don't want to.
I don't have to like you. Like,
yeah, facts.
So,
there was, right, I'm going to mention Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato.
Is
right?
she Mexican?
She is, okay. So this is where it's. I think now we're talking to like the problematic space. She is, I think, Latina by like ancestry, right? Like her grandparents were like born in California, but like came like from like Mexico. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, when I thought about this name, I was like, let me look this up because I have no idea, right? Lovato doesn't sound like a Spanish last name.
Sounds Italian to me.
Yeah, exactly. So then I looked it up, and she's like a bunch of things, but they asked her one time. They asked her
misgendering her.
You're
misgendering them. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. She just. Oh, God damn it. Sorry. They just came out as non-binary.
Oh, okay.
Like last week, I believe.
Well, they asked them, what is...
My apologies.
Your, I guess, favorite... I forgot what it was. Like, talk about, like, your Mexican ancestry. And she remember said, oh, no, I'm not Mexican. I did an ancestry, like, the other day, and it shows that I'm, like, Spanish. Right? Like, I'm not Mexican, like, 0%. And it rubbed me the wrong way seeing her say that. Or seeing them say that. Because I think a part of it is like not really understanding, like we talked about it before, not understanding the differences between ethnicity, race, all that jazz, nationality. Mexicans are comprised of indigenous Mexicans and European like settlers, right? Spanish being the biggest one. So for her to like dismiss I'm Mexican because I'm Spanish, I did have a problem with that. And maybe it's just about like educating themselves about it, but that was just kind of my 2 cents in that circumstance.
Is she the one that they asked what her favorite like Spanish or Mexican dish was, and she said like la taza, theirs, sorry, I'm trying, and they said like la taza, a cup or something like that.
Oh, I don't know.
Was that Demi?
They can do better.
I think that was, yeah. They asked them what was their favorite Spanish dish, Mexican dish, cup. Or a bowl or a mug. I forget what they said. But I was like, pendeje.
Oh my.
Pendeje.
Pendeje.
Pendeje. Yeah, there we go.
Hey, pendeje works.
Pendeje. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Hey, Latine. I think that's what I'm leaning towards. Okay. Sorry, we were going to talk about this for a moment. So let's move on to the next one then. Sports. Huge.
I think that's where
That's where guys, are definitely going to... And let me not put people in a bubble, right? Like girls absolutely as well, right? We love seeing representation. I root for Team USA a lot of the time, right? Hold on, pause, wait.
I'm about to throw this mic at you.
Okay, let me finish.
What Team USA?
I when it comes to the Olympics, when it comes to like if Team USA, I'm always like cheering for them, but it does not matter.
I'm still not.
What event, what sport, what anything. If Mexico is up, that's who we round with.
Exactly.
Put the team on our back. We are very good at boxing.
Oh boy,
we are historically mediocre at the World Cup.
Round of 16, baby. Consistent.
El quinto partido, we're coming. Okay, this next quinto partido, we will be there. And I want to say it is day 1675.
No era penal. Fuck you, Arjen Robben.
Fuck you, Robin. That's why you're not the best left winger or right winger ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Mo Salah.
Yeah. So, like you said, it doesn't matter what the event is. It's just seeing that success.
Absolutely.
Success. Seeing people like you.
Eduardo Nájera, right? We talked about him before when you asked. Mexican basketball player.
See, that was your guy.
I played basketball, and he was the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
I wished he was my dad.
Sorry, Mr. Arce.
No offense, Dad, but
yeah,
Eduardo would have been a cooler dad.
I feel you. That I felt like that about a lot of soccer players because basketball wasn't my thing. So I he did not. For me, that wasn't.
Seeing success is huge, right? You talked about in football, right? Like Chicharito.
Yeah, Chicharito. Just anytime you see someone ascend to levels of great, notoriety, greatness, because you can have success like local and this, that, and the other. But when you see levels of that success, like a Chicharito who won so much with Manchester United, Rafael Marquez won a Champions League playing as one of the main defenders in Barcelona, and outside of other sports.
Hugo Sanchez, right? Like even before them, like right with Real Madrid, and everybody.
And then when you talked about the Olympics, I hadn't even thought about the Olympics, but so Mexico's not very great, right? We don't really medal that often. We're good at speed walking, we're good at diving. We get silver medals for those. But I don't know if you remember, I think in the Beijing Olympics, we got a gold medal for Taekwondo, and I was fucking lit. That was I don't remember that. That sounds. That was such, and I think we've had another couple gold medals here and there for again speed walking, diving. This time, we had a really good track athlete, Guevara, I think was her last name. Regardless, just seeing the success, seeing people from the country that you personally love.
Yeah, no, and there's a lot of we're talking about Mexico specifically, across just Latin America, there is so much success in that realm, right? We talk about Copa America, right? We talk about greatest soccer players of all time.
Diego Armando Maradona and Pelé.
And Messi's in that conversation, wow. Right? So an incredible amount of success in those realms, and I think I'm gonna use that to just amplify my point earlier. There's so much talent, and there's so much that we as a people can accomplish and do,
and so many realms, dude,
in so many different places and spaces. That it's more so about not being given the opportunity to do such, as opposed to not being able to.
Yep.
Right, and I think that's really kind of what this conversation is about. And when we're talking about media, right, it's important to see that, not just as an athlete, right. We need to see, in a show where there's Grey's Anatomy, there should one day be the equivalent where there's a Mexican doctor, a Colombian doctor, a Venezuelan doctor that is the main character of the show, right? Because that's the space that we can also occupy, not just the Hector, right? And so now let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about misrepresentation and underrepresentation. And I think the place where you have to start when you're looking at that is just leaning into stereotypes, right? I asked you what are some that you immediately just jumped to? We talked about them a little bit already.
Hard workers. No, so we're always the women are always feisty. Spicy. Yeah, spicy, right? They're always feisty. They're all usually very attractive, sexy.
Hot-tempered, right? They have a short temper.
Caliente.
Yeah, exactly, right? They kind of very sexy,
The guys are always cholos.
When you, do you watch Modern Family?
No.
Okay, so I really like Modern Family. Sofia Vergara, I think, is a very talented individual, but she is very much the Mount Rushmore of that typecast, right? Extremely attractive woman that they lean on her accent super heavily, and I think that can create problems when again you're trying to not put people in a box. So yeah, that was one of the first ones, and then the other one is right. There's a lot of movies. Spanglish was I think the one that was caught out to me, being a nanny, being the
caretaker.
A caretaker,
of children.
And even being a maid, right? We'll see a lot if they're casting someone in that role, it's not unsurprising for it to be someone that looks like you and I.
Like in Family Guy. That's funny.
We need more lemon pledge. I literally hated going to buy lemon pledge when my mom would ask me to, because I'd be nah, we need to do something else. But yeah, and then when you come to that, you have cholos, Latinos, right? We talked about it. Hector. there's the actor.
Y'all know who we're talking about? Hector.
Hector.
He plays Hector in every fucking movie.
He plays Hector in every movie.
Yeah.
And they're Italian. Mm-hmm. The actor that plays Hector in all these movies is his name is like Noel, and he maybe half, right? And I'm getting like nods that they're half, but Noel Guglielmi is like their name.
I had no idea. I just know him as Hector.
His name's not Hector.
Damn. My whole life's been a lie. I don't know what to do with myself.
Hector Guglielmi.
I thought that was like a real dude that just like walked on set. He was like, "What's up?"
Just like, "Oh, this dude's perfect.
Yeah,
let's keep him." And he just keeps walking onto the wrong sets. He's crip walking onto the set. And then we talked about the actors themselves. Wood Valderrama in that '70s show was the foreign exchange student, right? Fez, right? That's literally what his name was. Foreign exchange student, Fez. And so there was just a lot of like, oh, like where you even like anytime they talked about where he was from, there's like, oh, the jungle, like, oh, like all this like XYZ, like you didn't watch the show, right?
I don't like it.
I think it's they were like the token character for like just everyone and that one's even more like Central American, like I think more than like I don't know, but I think that's just you're not doing the community right by like constantly enforcing these stereotypes and typecasting people into these roles, because that doesn't represent us, right? Like we don't want to be seen just in these roles, which is just the point that we've been making this whole time. Do you have anything to add on to that?
The other thing with the underrepresentation part specifically, because I've seen a lot of this, and we're talking about people that look like us, but there's also a whole other branch of Latinos that don't really look like that because they're Afro Latinos, and that representation I think is even less. Like there's even less of that. So I think it's important to be inclusive of that, because at the end of the day they are part of our Latino family. Yeah,
absolutely. I think now we're talking about the concept of like it's really hard to encapsulate, right, like Latin America with one character.
Yep.
Right? There's so many types of people that look very different. And I think there's a new push towards it. I think just in general, like we're kind of pushing to this, like being inclusive and having a more like representation in all realms and in all spaces. But yeah, like someone like Zoe Saldana, right? Who she does a lot of work for like advocating.
She's a great one.
I know her and like Julissa Arce had like a conversation the other day. Julissa Arce is like an advocate. She has like a book, a few books about like speaking about being like in the United States and
I don't know
being.
what that is.
Look her up.
Okay.
She's the most famous Arce that I know.
I'll go do some homework.
And then you have, we talked about this earlier, right? It was groundbreaking. Yalitza Aparicio.
I don't know her last name. Is that
I'm pretty sure. Apaicio.
Oh, shit.
Aparicio.
Aparicio.
Yeah, yes, from Roma. Did she win the
I think so.
Academy Award?
I don't know.
Or was it an Oscar?
She put on. That's all I know. I'm not sure.
And that was groundbreaking, because even when we're like,
just an example of like, I don't give a fuck about the movie. It's fucking boring as shit in my eyes. But yo, hell yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, like the whole time we've talked about even a lot of these actors in movies and like these people that represented more you and I, they've all been very similar, right? Some very white passing, very fair skin, very like
attractive,
of
like typical, like
like
Mario Lopez.
What we consider like traditionally attractive, right? And Yalitza is,
because I don't want to misconstrue that she is like a very beautiful woman.
Yeah, she is. But I think you hit the nail on the head, right? Like they don't want to see that type of beauty. They want to see what they see in Eva Longoria, in Sofia Vergara, right? And so shout out to her, and shout out to everyone that's like really asking him and needing more of that, because we do.
Oh, no one's looked.
She's in so like Monica sent me a little bit just about her, right? Like she's indigenous. Her father is Mixtec and her mother is Trique. I don't know if I'm saying that. She speaks like indigenous. She's not fluent in the language, but she speaks like indigenous language. And so she didn't really have formal acting. I think that was kind of like what was amazing about like her story. And for her to go off and like be a part of that production and do so well. Yep. Shout out to her, and shout out to everyone in the space creating that more. And I think we talked about it a little bit before, right? We need, if you've seen shows like Blackish, like Grownish, right? There is not a more perfect storyline for someone that's like ish, right? Ni de aquí ni de allá. We need something like Latinish,
sure,
right? Because we need to be able. Is there a brownish?
They're trying to make one.
That's what I was. That's what I was telling
really?
you about.
Okay.
That's the reason why the term was trending the other day, because they were talking about a show. That's
Brownish.
Yeah.
Got you. I mean, because there's so many. This podcast, right? Is literally what we talk about all the time. There's so many.
Cast us.
Yeah.
I'd make for a great lead.
I'd make a great supporting actor.
Hey, whoever is speaking to the other. You want to come to mine?
I'd make a great supporting actor. I have no formal acting experience, but as you can see, we are capable. Shout out to Yalitza for proving that. So hey, give me a call.
She's the trailblazer. Following her path.
I'm just gonna follow in her path. And if it's not me because I don't look indigenous enough, I'll take a bow.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, and then we have people like that are still like white passing, but are still advocating, like someone like Kete Castillo, right, who was a part of like Bajo la Misma Luna, Under the Same Moon. I think it's just we really need to get on board about like advocating for ourselves.
Another Afro-Latina, huge Lupita in Yongo.
Oh yeah.
Just want to throw that one out there. There's another one.
And she's varying, right? Like Afro-Latina.
I didn't know she was even like partly Latina.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can, and again, it's because we don't exist like in like just a specific, like it's such a spectrum.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's just really where that conversation needs to move forward, right? More representation, more shows, more leading characters, more empowering characters, right? Not just these typecasts that we see, and it's up to us to do that, right? Like we have to be the ones that push for it, that support it, and that really embrace it for it to really catch on and continue to grow, because the representation has not grown with the population increase that we've seen here in the States, and that's a problem that we need to address. And I think do you have anything else to add? Because I want to end on a note where I think that was very important.
Do we have the Miss Universe's name to shout out now?
Oh, dang.
And we slacking.
Our producers are slacking. Sorry, y'all.
Andrea something.
And she's like a software engineer. Did you know that? Women in STEM. Andrea Mesa.
Mesa.
Sorry.
Andrea Mesa. Shout out to her.
Andrea Mesa, if you need anyone to come scrub your floors with a toothbrush, I am available.
With his toothbrush.
It can be my toothbrush, and then I'll brush my teeth with it.
Rudy.
I am available Monday through Sunday, right now. 24 hours a day.
Rudy, get your ass in the horny corner.
7 days a week. Just throwing it out there.
I'm sorry, guys. Shout out to her though. That was fucking amazing. People were talking a lot of shit, talking about it shouldn't have been her, should have been Miss the Philippines or whoever the fuck else. I don't care. I didn't watch it. I was just like, yo, fuck yeah, let's go,
bro. Shout out. We should have known the name. Yeah. That's on us. But sorry. I was again. I took this excerpt out of the paper from. I think this one was from UCLA.
You got lucky. We're running a long time because I was gonna go you on some trivia, but we'll save it till next time.
God.
Go ahead and finish with these quotes.
This was a quote from that paper. So there are more portrayals of African Americans as a percentage than in society, but it's largely negative representation, and it's largely about crime, both in news and entertainment. And you'll rarely see Latinos in the media. You'll rarely read about them in newspaper. They don't exist. That makes it a lot easier for government to decide that they're going to put small children from that group into cages. Right? And so it's you cannot understate the impact of representation. Because if you can't see yourself, if you can't relate, and even if other people can't see you in that light, I think that's exactly what this was like getting towards, right? It's easier to dehumanize us when you don't see where we exist. So that was just like I really like that segment or that quote from that article. So super important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, very well said.
Shout out. And with that being said, I think that about does it for this episode of the Scatterroots podcast. This is another longer episode than we've done before.
I'm tired.
I'm not tired. I'm ready to go. Keep going. You ready? Next episode.
What's up?
Nah, I'm just playing.
I'm just kidding.
I am tired. But thank you for hanging in there with us today. We do appreciate it. Continue to give us feedback. Follow us on all the socials. And y'all have a good rest of your day. Thank you.